On December 21st, 1988, the world watched in horror as Pan Am Flight 103, en route from London to New York, vanished from radar screens. The Boeing 747, carrying 259 souls from 21 nations, had been ripped apart by a bomb at 31,000 feet. The wreckage rained down upon the small Scottish town of Lockerbie, claiming the lives of 11 residents. It was an act of unspeakable cruelty, leaving a scar on the global psyche and igniting a relentless pursuit of justice. The bombing of Pan Am 103 was not merely a tragedy, it was a brutal assault on innocence. Among the victims were students flying home for Christmas, families embarking on holidays, and individuals simply going about their lives. The scale of the loss was staggering, sending shockwaves across continents and forever altering the lives of countless families. The world mourned with the bereaved, offering condolences and demanding answers. The bombing of Pan Am 103 was a stark reminder of the vulnerability of civilian life to acts of terror. It underlined the urgent need for international cooperation to combat terrorism and bring perpetrators to justice. The investigation into the bombing was immediate and immense, drawing in resources and expertise from around the globe. The eyes of the world were on Lockerbie, united in grief and determined to see justice served. The pursuit of the perpetrators would become one of the most complex and controversial criminal investigations in history. The investigation into the Lockerbie bombing was long and complex, spanning continents and years. Early suspicions fell upon Libya, a nation already under international scrutiny for its alleged support of terrorism. The focus on Libya intensified as investigators painstakingly pieced together fragments of the bomb and traced its origins. After years of painstaking investigation, 2 Libyan nationals, Abdelbasset al-Megrahi and Lamin Khalifa Fhimah, were indicted in 1991 for their alleged roles in the bombing. Megrahi, a former Libyan intelligence officer, was accused of planting the bomb that destroyed Pan Am 103. Fhimah, the station manager for Libyan Arab Airlines in Malta, was accused of aiding Megrahi. In 1999, after protracted negotiations and under intense international pressure, Libya handed over the 2 suspects to Scottish authorities for trial. The trial, held under Scottish law at a specially convened court in the Netherlands, captivated the world. The prosecution presented evidence linking Megrahi to the bombing, including fragments of a timer alleged to have been used in the device. In 2001, Megrahi was found guilty of mass murder by the Scottish court and sentenced to life imprisonment. Fhimah was acquitted due to insufficient evidence. Megrahi's conviction, though welcomed by many of the victims' families, sparked controversy and debate that continues to this day. The conviction of Abdelbasset al-Megrahi marked a significant step in the pursuit of justice for the victims of Pan Am 103. However, the Libyan government's initial response was one of denial and defiance. Libya maintained its innocence, claiming that Megrahi was a scapegoat and that the trial was politically motivated. However, in a surprising turn of events in 2003, the Libyan government, under the leadership of Colonel Muammar Gaddafi, formally accepted responsibility for the bombing. This admission, while welcomed by many, was seen by some as a pragmatic move to lift international sanctions and repair Libya's tarnished image. As part of its acceptance of responsibility, Libya agreed to pay compensation to the families of the victims. A $2.7 billion compensation fund was established, with each family receiving millions of dollars in exchange for waiving their right to sue the Libyan government. This financial settlement, while providing some measure of closure for the families, did little to quell the debate surrounding Libya's role in the bombing. The Libyan government's admission of responsibility and the subsequent compensation payments were seen by some as a victory for justice. However, others viewed it as a calculated move by Gaddafi to rehabilitate Libya's image and regain international acceptance. The bombing of Pan Am 103, despite the conviction of Abdelbasset al-Megrahi and Libya's acceptance of responsibility, remains a subject of intense scrutiny and debate. Alternative theories challenging the official narrative have persisted over the years, fueled by inconsistencies in the evidence and a lack of transparency from authorities. One of the most prominent alternative theories points to Iran as the mastermind behind the bombing. Proponents of this theory argue that the bombing was retaliation for the downing of an Iranian passenger jet by a US warship in the Persian Gulf earlier in 1988. They allege that Iran outsourced the operation to the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, a Palestinian militant group, to carry out the attack. Supporters of the Iranian theory point to circumstantial evidence, such as the timing of the bombing and alleged links between Iran and the PFLP. They argue that Megrahi and Libya were scapegoats sacrificed to appease international pressure and secure the lifting of sanctions. However, concrete evidence linking Iran to the bombing has remained elusive, and the theory has been met with skepticism by many. The existence of alternative theories, regardless of their validity, highlights the enduring controversy surrounding the Lockerbie bombing. The lack of definitive answers has fueled speculation and conspiracy theories, adding to the anguish of the victims' families who seek a complete understanding of the events that led to the tragedy. Section 5. The Elusive Truth, Evidence and Controversy. The Lockerbie bombing trial, despite its outcome, left many questions unanswered. Central to the controversy is the evidence presented against Megrahi, much of which has been challenged over the years. Critics argue that the evidence was circumstantial, unreliable, and potentially tampered with. One of the most contentious pieces of evidence was a fragment of a timer circuit board alleged to have been part of the bomb that destroyed Pan Am 103. The prosecution argued that this fragment linked the bombing to Libya, as similar timers had been sold to the Libyan government. However, defense experts challenged the authenticity of the fragment, claiming that it could have been planted or tampered with. Adding to the controversy, several key documents related to the bombing remain classified under a public interest immunity. These documents, believed to contain sensitive intelligence information, have fueled speculation and conspiracy theories, with some arguing that they could shed light on the true perpetrators of the bombing. The lack of transparency surrounding the evidence has fueled distrust in the official narrative and hampered efforts to achieve a definitive understanding of the events surrounding the bombing. The controversy surrounding the evidence underscores the complexity of the case and the challenges of achieving justice in the face of political sensitivities and intelligence secrecy. Section 6. Unheeded warnings and security lapses. The bombing of Pan Am 103 exposed not only the devastating consequences of terrorism, but also the vulnerabilities in aviation security at the time. In the aftermath of the tragedy, it emerged that there had been warnings of a potential attack, raising questions about whether more could have been done to prevent the disaster. Several weeks before the bombing, a warning had been issued to US authorities, specifically mentioning Pan Am flights originating from Frankfurt. However, this warning, along with others received at the time, was not deemed credible enough to warrant specific action. The bombing exposed significant security lapses at Frankfurt Airport, where the bomb was believed to have been loaded onto the aircraft. Baggage screening procedures were found to be inadequate, allowing the bomb to pass through undetected. The lack of proper security measures created an opportunity for terrorists to exploit the system and carry out their deadly plan. The security failures that contributed to the bombing of Pan Am 103 led to significant changes in aviation security protocols worldwide. The tragedy served as a wake-up call, prompting the implementation of stricter baggage screening, enhanced passenger profiling, and increased security presence at airports worldwide. Section 7. A new chapter, Massoud's arrest and trial. Over 3 decades after the bombing of Pan Am 103, the quest for justice continues, with a new chapter unfolding in the case. In December 2022, Abu Aguila Mohammed Massoud, a former Libyan intelligence officer, was taken into US custody, accused of playing a key role in the bombing. Massoud is suspected of being the bomb maker behind the device that destroyed Pan Am 103. US authorities allege that he confessed his involvement in the bombing to Libyan officials in 2012, providing details about the construction and delivery of the bomb. His arrest and extradition to the United States marked a significant development in the case, offering hope for a full accounting of the events that led to the tragedy. Massoud's trial, scheduled for May 2025 in Washington, D.C., is expected to be a landmark event. It will be the first time that a suspect in the Lockerbie bombing will face trial on US soil. The trial is expected to revisit evidence from the original trial, as well as present new information gathered by US and Scottish investigators over the years. The outcome of Massoud's trial has the potential to provide answers that have eluded the victims' families for decades. If found guilty, he faces a life sentence in a US prison. The trial is also expected to shed light on the Libyan government's role in the bombing and the extent of its support for terrorism. Section 8. Persistent questions and public interest. The passage of time has done little to diminish the public's fascination with the Lockerbie bombing. The case continues to generate headlines, documentaries, and dramas, each attempting to unravel the complexities of the event and provide answers to the many unanswered questions. The bombing of Pan Am 103 remains the deadliest terrorist attack in British history, and its legacy continues to resonate. The enduring interest in the case is a testament to the human cost of terrorism and the relentless pursuit of justice. The upcoming trial of Abu Aguila Mohammed Massoud is certain to reignite the debate and bring the case back into the global spotlight. The persistent questions surrounding the Lockerbie bombing serve as a reminder of the importance of accountability and transparency. The pursuit of justice, even decades after the event, demonstrates the commitment to ensuring that such acts of terror are never forgotten and that those responsible are held accountable for their actions. The ongoing media coverage and public interest in the Lockerbie bombing reflect a desire to understand the motivations behind the attack, the individuals involved, and the failures that allowed it to happen. The case serves as a stark reminder of the human cost of terrorism and the importance of continued vigilance in the face of such threats. Section 9. The legacy of Pan Am 103. The bombing of Pan Am Flight 103, a tragedy etched in memory, profoundly impacted the world. It exposed the vulnerability of civilian aviation to acts of terror, prompting a global reassessment of aviation security measures. The legacy of Pan Am 103 is multifaceted, encompassing the enduring grief of the victims' families, the pursuit of justice, and the ongoing debate surrounding the events of that fateful day. The bombing led to significant advancements in aviation security worldwide. Airports implemented stricter baggage screening protocols, introduced passenger profiling techniques, and enhanced security presence. These measures, while inconvenient at times, have become an accepted part of air travel, a constant reminder of the need to remain vigilant against the threat of terrorism. The pursuit of justice for the victims of Pan Am 103 has been unwavering, spanning decades and continents. The upcoming trial of Abu Aguila Mohammed Massoud represents a pivotal moment in this quest, potentially providing answers and a measure of closure for the families who have endured unimaginable loss. The bombing of Pan Am 103 serves as a solemn reminder of the human cost of hatred and intolerance. It underscores the importance of international cooperation in combating terrorism and the need for continued vigilance in the face of such threats. The legacy of Pan Am 103 is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, the enduring power of hope, and the unwavering pursuit of justice.